Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. This week we are in Italy. My sister and I hadn't seen our parents in over 1 year, so we decided to meet in Italy. Of course, we started with Milan. The first place we checked out was the Milan Cathedral, also known as the Duomo, and the gallery that's right by it. It's said to have taken the Duomo 600 years to be finished, and the gallery next to it is most famously known for its designer stores. Fun fact, if you spin on the bull's testicle 3 times, you get good luck for life. So after exploring the area for a little while, we decided to grab drinks at this restaurant called Savini in the gallery. We turned in early the first night because the next day we had an early tour to Lake Como. The city of Como is a charming city located at the southern tip of Lake Como. The city is steeped in history and boasts ancient architecture, including its famous Gothic-style cathedral, Duomo de Como. One of the unique features of Como is its beautifully laid out cobblestone roads, some of which date back to the Roman era. The city of Como has 4 main squares. Each square's centerpiece is a basilica or a cathedral, named after priests from the area. Not too far from the city of Lake Como is this beautiful villa called Villa Olmo, which is owned by the city, but used to be owned by a private family. You can come here and take in serene views of Lake Como, and if you're rich enough, you could rent it out for about $5 million a night. From the villa, we got back on our buses and drove up the shore of Lake Como till we got to the small commune called Tremezzo, where we got on the boat to enjoy Lake Como as well as to go to the city of Bellagio. On the journey to the city of Bellagio, we took in some incredible architecture right on the shore of the lake. Some of these homes go for about $18,000 a night. Upon our arrival to the Pearl of Lake Como, also known as Bellagio, we were completely amazed by the amount of stairs in the city, and you want to take every single one because each one takes you to a more beautiful area with picturesque views of the lake and the city itself. After conquering those whimsical stairs, we had built up quite an appetite, so we found a restaurant with these amazing views and decided to feast. For lunch, we're enjoying a nice cold local beer as well as some pasta with arrabbiata sauce. After 10 hours of exploring, we found ourselves reluctantly parting ways with the captivating beauty of Lake Como. Coming back from Lake Como, we decided to explore Milan, so we get off at the Duomo and took a tram to Navili district. Navili district is known for its food and bars, and this is actually where I learned about the concept of aperitivo. Aperitivo is basically a pre-meal drink where you sit down, you order a drink, and you get some biting snacks with it. The concept of aperitivo saved us this night because the restaurants we went to didn't have any vegetarian options, so we relied on just drinks and a bunch of different types of aperitivo snacks. So today we're headed to Rome. We decided to book all business class tickets because it was only marginally more expensive, but it was tremendously more comfortable than the normal standard tickets. So here is a little glimpse of what the Milano terminal looks like and us getting on the business class bus. This is the business class seat in Italia Tren. We're on our way to Rome. There's the one. Traveling by train is the best way to go around Italy, especially when you have beautiful trains like this. These trains can go up to 300 kilometers per hour. They're well maintained, they have Wi-Fi on board, as well as a little cafe cart. We are here at Rome Termini, so Rome train terminal. Rome. It is a nice cloudy day with a lot of sunlight. Just waiting for our Uber to get to the hotel. Already this architecture is beautiful. As we made our way from the terminal to our hotel, we were just taking in the streets of Rome. There's something very interesting I noticed, how Rome is both historic yet contemporary. There's these ancient ruins there, but at the same time, it's as lively and high-tech as a city like Chicago or New York is. Our home for the next 2 nights is the Una Hotel in the city or district of Trastevere. We chose this neighborhood because it's known as the foodies neighborhood. Here's a quick tour of our hotel room. It was so eclectic and elegant. This place is really going to be tough to beat here in Italy. The hotel also had a really nice outdoor area, which we didn't get to use in our stay there, but here's what it looks like. We are walking to a restaurant of Tony's finding. Beautiful weather, it's trickling a little. As we left our hotel to explore the streets of Trastevere, I just couldn't get enough of how beautiful the streets and the cobblestone roads were. You never really know what's on the other side of these serpentine streets. You might find another alley or an entire bustling bazaar, as we see here. This area is where we had come to eat our lunch at this famous restaurant called Tonarello, but the line swept all the way around the street and we didn't want to wait that long. So we walked around until we found this restaurant called Mimi's, and we're so glad we did because this was phenomenal food. We sat right on the streets and cars would drive right by us. We got some phenomenal flatbread pizza along with spaghetti and Aperol Spritz. It was a really grand time. Later back at the hotel, this is the view from our rooftop. Once we got ready, we decided to go explore the town for the half day that we had remaining. You can't hear me here because it was really rainy and loud and there was a lot of traffic. But here I was just explaining that we're going to this famous plaza called Plaza Navona. Just as before, we found ourselves roaming through the windy streets. Not sure if it was designed that way, but having the streets windy and circular really had us explore and go on tangents and allowed us to really get a better experience of what the locals see when they're traveling through Rome every day. After all the detours, we finally made our way to Plaza Novano, and I tell you, this place has a certain charm after it rains. After we walked around the plaza and learned a little bit about the history of it, I don't have footage, but we decided to eat at a restaurant nearby called Tucci, and the food was quite alright. The next day in Rome, it was kind of rainy, but we still decided to explore the district of Trastevere and finally get to go to the restaurant that we've been wanting to go to called Tonarello. The wait was absolutely worth it. We got flatbread pizza, focaccia bread, local wine, and pesto penne, and everything was tasty and delicious. Most of the day we just walked around and explored waiting for our tour to start, but when the tour did start, it was pouring outside. And I mean, we were soaking wet, people had their umbrellas out, and we did not prepare for this. The tour began at the famous Spanish Steps where we met up with our guide and the rest of the group, and it was a guided tour where we walked through heart of Rome, especially the Trevi Fountain, and learned about the history and architecture and the influences of Catholicism in the architecture. Later at night, we went to a Michelin star restaurant called Krishna, having this amazing Indian cuisine. This was definitely a memorable one. After eating all that food, we retired to our hotel because we had a whole day of traveling ahead because we were going to Positano. Today we start out with an early train to Salerno, which is where we get on a boat to go to Positano. Once we got to Salerno, it was raining a little bit and we had to go about 100 meters, 300 meters to get to the port where we get on our ferries, which would take us to Positano. Salerno is a beautiful city, and next time I definitely want to have some time to spend here. After a quick coffee stop, we made our way to the port and saw some really cool boats that were docked there as we were trying to find our ticket stands. Once we found the ticket stands, they were around $9 to get from Salerno to Positano, and we were on this really big boat. Beware, you are going to get motion sick if you have motion sickness. But my god, look at this scenery. I know it was a bit cloudy, but those colors are contrasting and it was beautiful, and we were so excited to finally see the city. Once we got off the boat, I just couldn't believe my eyes. It was beautiful. I couldn't get enough of the colors, being on the coast, the mountains in the back. It was just immaculate. I stood there for a few minutes just taking it all in, and then we made our way a very much uphill way to get to our taxi, to get to our Airbnb, which is about 30 minutes away from the city of Positano. But this is a beautiful villa. And we particularly chose this villa because of the beautiful views it offered of the ocean. and it was actually carved into the side of a mountain like most houses in Positanos, but the owners went down 1,400 steps every day, a few times a day, to get sand from the beach to build it. Airbnb is about 1,400 steps to Positano. You have to take these tiny tunnels down the path. 1,400 steps may not sound like much, but at the level of steepness that these were, it was quite the hike, but they offered beautiful views and amazing looks into the livelihoods of the people that live there. What you see here is Hotel Serenuse, the most popular hotel in Positano. We weren't able to stay there because it was extremely expensive, but we did catch dinner there. We are leaving Positano, making our way to Ravello. We've just come back on the ferry from Minori to Salerno, and now we're walking around 500 meters to the train station.